So, welcome everyone to another episode of the ATX DAO Podcast. We have a fun one today with a few members from the Avalanche Cascade team. So, bit of a role reversal, and Luke bringing in some of his friends from Avalanche Team1, where they'll be chatting us through Avalanche Cascade. So, Luke, Armin, Sangeeth, welcome to the pod.
Hey guys, excited to be
Hey
here.
everyone, nice to be here.
Glad to be here as well. And fun to be on the other side of the camera this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Stepping up my game a little bit, but definitely happy to chat through. And I think initially to level set with the audience, would love to hear from the team as far as the quick elevator pitch for Avalanche Cascade, perhaps the origin story of how Cascade emerged within the Avalanche Team1 ecosystem.
I will maybe start a bit with the history. So, like a year ago, something like that, I started to build a Git book with lots of resources for Avalanche. Because if you join a new ecosystem, it's always like you want to know like whom to follow. You want to know what tools you can use. What are the most used PFPs? What are the meme coins? What are the DEXs that are like the most recognized ones? What lending platforms exist and so on. So I created a Git book, and I also created a 21 steps to Avalanche guide. It was like a super basic thing, I would say. But we already had about 200 projects listed on this Git book. And for sure, if we have all this data, we can do much more. So we can visualize it nicer, we can create ecosystem maps, and we can build some interactive guides. And that's when I got in contact with Luke and also with Sangeeth. And then we talked about we want to build a really nice and good onboarding experience for people who come to Avalanche. And there are different user groups. So there are people who are completely new to Web3, to crypto. So for them, it's like they need to start with downloading a wallet and maybe just start to use the DEX. And that's already a lot for new users, right? But you also have seasoned Web3 people. So they want to know how to use perpetual exchanges, for example, and other things. So we have this onboarding path for Web3 natives. For sure, there are also developers. We have builders. Avalanche is a great platform to build dApps and stuff on it. So that's why there is also a path for developers. But we also had, so when we talk to different people, there are always similar questions, like where do you start and how can we build on Avalanche? It's also very often the question where can I get funding? Where can I get support? How do I describe a traditional business why they should use Avalanche? That's why there is also a fourth path, which is the businesses area, where you can see what big companies already use Avalanche, so that you really get a feeling for how powerful Avalanche is and how many projects already built there. So that's the one part is this onboarding, and the second thing we then created was this the ecosystem map, so just to visualize all this, all the projects on a nice map. And this ecosystem map also got some traction on Twitter, which is nice. And so I would say that's the the background, how it started. And what's really nice is with the team. So I think we all had very good ideas to expand it, to make it better, to improve the design, to improve the content, to expand it, and to also include other people from Team1. So to include, for example, blog articles that Team1 members wrote about how to get into DeFi, or how to use restaking. So such things. But maybe Luke, maybe you also describe it from your point of view. So
yeah, for sure. So kind of like Armin was saying, we really kind of wanted to have one place to send folks that have questions about Avalanche or kind of going to events. So we have a lot of different types of events within Team1. So some of those events are more gaming focused. So folks might just come to the event because they like playing video games, but they don't know anything about blockchain, but maybe they're interested in that. So we have a way to kind of help them take that next step into learning more and that kind of thing. But I think one area that I do want to touch on is within that onboarding. So Sangeeth was kind of newer to Avalanche when he first kind of joined Team1, and so I think Sangeeth, you had some examples of things that you've kind of experienced personally that kind of fed into what we ended up building here. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
So it's basically not my first entry into Avalanche. Avalanche is my entry into crypto itself, anything related to it. And but that doesn't mean it's my first exposure. I have been attending events. It was mostly for Solana super team and stuff. And I had to figure out so many things when I joined, what's happening here, because most of the things we speak are we are not used to it day to day. The terms, the jargons and stuff, and who to follow and what's happening in the ecosystem. And all of this was a process that took like 2-3 months of diligent research and stuff. I had to read through all of the blogs, articles, go through people's Twitter profiles and stuff. And that's when I slowly compiled these ideas, so that how can a complete beginner come in here and get started without much friction or needing to go around all the places like I did. So that's when I approached Luke and told him there is a gap on onboarding and people really has to struggle to get to a good understanding in there. So that's when everything started.
Yeah, that's really cool. It seems like you guys have kind of like, I know Luke has been, sharing some of the progress that he's made on this front with you guys in the team. And, one of the things that Luke consistently says, because like we share desks in the office, like right across each other, it's like I either see Luke really tired from working because he's working hard. And then the other thing that consistently comes out is like how happy he is with the talent that's on the team. So that's really great. And it kind of shows in the product, right? Because it's like, I'm looking at it and it seems like you guys have kind of built like a yellow pages for AVAX, right? Like a digitized super team that basically has everything that you would need to know and as a directory of information on here. I'm also curious, like, as I'm looking through this, just sorry, Tom, like for those of the people who watch this episode, they know that like sometimes I have like a million questions. I'm curious to see like the learning tool approach, right? Like this morning, early in the morning, because I just don't sleep. I was fucking around in Duolingo learning Klingon, right? Like this learning approach towards things. Like, do you guys think about turning that into, or is there any thought about like turning that into like kind of like a galaxy where you have this questing mechanism for knowledge that's there, that's rewarded, so that people come through, they have the directory of everything that's there, and we encourage this questing for people to seek more knowledge and go through these pipelines?
Yeah, rather than questing, something we already talked about right from the start was an XP and badging system. So that so it's Avalanche, right? So it's mountains, climbing stuff. So they basically start from a small adventurer or someone who starts a journey, and they learn through this. They collect XP, and they can actually graduate and do stuff like that. We are planning on it, and actually depends on other projects that's coming into our system. So we are hoping to see it soon. Maybe not questing, but definitely a system where people can level up.
Yeah, I hope the top layer, the top person as you get to that experience is Yeti, right? You start off as a human, you evolve into the abominable snowman,
Yeah.
We might use that idea. That's actually a good one.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool. Because this looks pretty neat. Like, yeah, I am notorious for at least discovering things at the very last person. It's like, it's kind of like the ongoing gag, even at the house. It's like, I'm the last person to know about anything and everything that happens. It's like, so here I am discovering this right now. And it's like, neurons are firing away. So sorry.
Awesome. Well, as we're taking a look here for our video listeners, you can see these various tabs that differentiate new crypto users, Web3 natives, developers, businesses. And it sounds like from the internal team's perspective, you had received recurring questions around these various segments and thought, all right, let's compile all this information into one onboarding website that you can send anyone who's new to the Avalanche ecosystem to go ahead and try to help address their questions. So as far as building this out, I was curious if the team had any inspiration, whether it's from other blockchain ecosystems or perhaps any Web2 companies where you thought, all right, they're doing a great job helping to onboard users, making it super seamless. Did the team take any inspiration in helping build out Cascade?
I mean, in the beginning, we mostly we just built it based on the ideas we had, and then when we had the first versions ready, we realized that there are like others that also have like an kind of an ecosystem map. So we for sure had a look like how they did it, and yeah, like I got some inspiration. Most of the things were already done at this time, but we are for sure always like researching other ecosystems and like seeing how they do it and what we can improve. So, for example, I mean, there is one that when I looked at the documentation of Sai, for example, they have like an onboarding experience which is like super simplified. It's I would say it's simpler than what we have here, and the reason is just they have less text, I would say, or less paths. So there it's really like step one, download a wallet, step two, connect the wallet, step three, do a swap. So and that's it. So for a just a like pure onboarding, that's nice and good. But I mean, we also want to have a bit more in there. So we also want to have this like, I don't know, join the community, or what we will also add here in like one of the next releases is that you start to follow the main Avalanche accounts, because that's also an important part when you join an ecosystem, that you like, I don't know, you have 5 or 10 or 50 accounts that you will follow. So depending on where you come from, so if you come from from a developer experience, you go to the developer's path, then you probably want to follow the DevRel people. If you're more like a Web3 meme coin gambler, then you maybe want to follow some entertaining people more than like DevRel. So, well.
Yeah, I
Right.
like this. I like this approach that you have this like mass link kind of follower. It's kind of smart, right? It's kind of like it's very a crude example, but it's like walking through the red light district and everyone's trying to pull you in their direction, right? So it's kind of nice if there's a way for you to mass follow, like a topic feed around like Ripple brainers around that subsection. I also have a question about like, are majority of Avalanche users mobile users or desktop users?
Both. I mean, it's more desktop focused, but I mean, if you go, for example, to the Web3 natives path, then you will see we have some wallets that we link there, or also for the new crypto users. And the core wallet is the main Avalanche wallet. But there is also the like Rappi, for example, and I mean Core is also exists as a mobile wallet. Also, I mean MetaMask and Rappi, they now have mobile ones. But if you look at some of those platforms, I don't know if they would even work on mobile. So, like if you use a decentralized exchange, then I mean they work, but it's I don't know. I'm a desktop user, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried it one time, but I don't like the experience that much. So.
Yeah, and Ash, I think were you asking more in terms of the Cascade site itself? Like, is it mobile friendly, that kind of thing?
Well, no, I was just wondering if like a majority of Avalanche users, and once again, this is like founder and me constantly thinking of product. After spending 45 minutes on Klingon, I basically switched to putting out fires. But like, I was thinking that if a majority of users in Avalanche are mobile users, right, going from having a website interface to a mobile-heavy app interface that's easily downloadable in iOS or Android's Play Store would be synonymous with that experience, or an embedded experience within the Avalanche wallet itself that links into this. So a DApp, like a nested DApp experience. So if the core onboarding point for a product is the wallet, right, then it's like you build a DApp thesis of learning from that dissemination point. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting because it's like if you're thinking about like the red light thing where it's like you're pulling people in, like you can't getting an API directly from like Twitter is like insane, right? That's like 40 grand a month. Like that is a wild. That's AVAX money. It's definitely not Dogecoin money. So you guys could probably pull it off. But like that being said, like I think third-party automation tools also do this. And since it's like Twitter users are majority mobile-based users, and that's become like the de facto town hall for crypto Twitter is effectively X. It'd be kind of interesting to see if you guys are thinking about that direction. And it seems like you guys are already. So I could see that inevitably happening there. That's pretty cool actually.
I mean, in general, so the website is for sure optimized also for mobile. We also have a QR code generator. So if you share the page, there is a QR code that the people can use. And what we know from the analytics is that about 2/3 of our users are desktop users. So that's why, yeah, there is some focus. And what you mentioned regarding the mass following. So we also thought about having something like that. So when we built the socials feature with the profiles to also add a mass following thing, but that's prohibited by X. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think
They
I'll
don't
send
allow
you
it
I'll
with that.
send you some workarounds around that. Don't worry. Because I thought about
Yeah.
that too. So yeah, but I think that the direction that that's going into is pretty cool. I guess, my next question is that like, if you're thinking about like the analytics on this stuff, like what kind of metrics are you guys using internally to think about how do you evaluate your site internally and then its external use effectiveness in terms of onboarding? Like how do you guys think about that from a product perspective?
Yeah, so we have some analytics integrated into the website. I mean, one thing that is quite important for us is, so there is the Avalanche Team1 with a few hundred members to like every month there are, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 events around the globe. So they do really a great job. For sure, there are lots of people. And many of them are new and they join Avalanche the first time. So what we created is on one side a QR code that you can generate, where you can also enter your own referral name. So you can put in your name, and if someone uses this QR code to access the website, then we also see where they come from. And what we also did, so Sangeeth created a really nice design for a ticket that the people can use at events, and they can print it out, they can give it to people. And also there we have QR codes with country-wise tracking. So we know there is, for example, an event in India, someone's cancer, we know like how much people came through this link to our website. So we track those different numbers. For sure we want to know like how many people use it, how long do they use the website. And I would say the stats are quite good here. So we see that the people, they are not just opening and then they just leave after 10 seconds. It's really the people stay there, they go through it. So we have like, yeah, our average visit is 4 or 5 minutes, so in that range. So and yeah, what's also interesting for us is, I mean, we have this ecosystem map, and on the ecosystem map you can create favorites, so you can like stare the projects that you like, and then they will appear on top, and you can create your ecosystem map. So we also track those things, so just to like see what are the like most liked projects. Where are people really interested in it, and how do they navigate through the site? Because for sure we want to like further improve the things that work well, and make sure that for our users they have a good experience.
Wait, just one last question about this. Like, so you're tracking, I guess it's like a lead generation and like conversion rate mechanism for site discovery to actual protocol discovery and use, I guess, right? So like they come to the site, go to a particular protocol, and then and then also, are you sharing these metrics with the projects that are actually on the Avalanche ecosystem? Because you've displayed everything, right? So I'm curious to see, it's like, hey, their ability to retain a user once they come through this product pipeline as well. Is that data being transferred and shared with them as well?
Yeah, so currently we use it mainly to improve the site. But we also have some ideas to make some data available or to make some things like, let's say, more transparent. So like, for example, I think it's in general, like for everyone interesting, what are the most liked projects, for example. So, and that's something we will probably add to the site. So to have some like kind of ranking or however you want to call it. And I mean, what I think what's also like, quite interesting for Avalanche, like, I mean, there's, for example, the core wallet. So I mean, for them, it's also like good to know like how many people come from Team1. So that's, for example, so if you go to the core wallet, we have so we just add the source so that they can track it and it comes from Team1. Because in the end, it's, I mean, first we want to help the people to be onboarded, to have like a super smooth and good start into Avalanche. We do this for the people, we do this for Avalanche, we also do it for Team1, because I think it's also for Team1, it's like a good effort, right? It's
Yeah. Because I think that has a direct effect on scroll depth mechanics or metrics, right? Like, even though you're allowing for the segmentation of these lists, it'd be very interesting to see how this data flow is passed on. Sorry, that was the end of my random tangential vector of thought. I apologize, Tom and Luke.
No, it was great. It was great. And I do need to follow up later on exactly what you're going to be using your new Klingon speaking skills for, but we'll talk about that offline.
Great. Well, so Armin, you had touched upon this briefly as far as the next iteration of building out Cascade. I'm curious as far as the roadmap ahead over the coming year or two. Are there any additional features that you're looking to integrate into Cascade as you continue to try to onboard the masses into the Avalanche ecosystem?
yes. So we have, I would say, a big roadmap, or at least a lot of features that we want to add. I mean, we want to improve the design, for example. So Sangeeth already created a nice new landing page so that it looks really great. So that will be one thing. Then what's like super important for us is these onboarding paths. And currently we have them for beginners, for Web3 users, for developers, and for businesses. But if you are, for example, if you are very well of Solana, then you have your tools within Solana. So you use Phantom, for example, or you use pump.fun. So you have like a few tools. And if you come to Avalanche, it would be nice to know like, what is my Phantom on Avalanche, or what is my pump.fun? So we will create onboarding paths for people coming from other chains. So there will be like from Solana, from Cardano, from Stellar, and like Sui, and like lots of different other chains. And it's also, again, we want to make it easy for the people. And one like super important part, for example, is to have a nice bridge and a trustworthy bridge. So, I mean, if you're in the EVM ecosystem, then, I mean, there are enough bridges available. But if you want to bridge from Stellar to Avalanche, for example, or you want to bridge from Cardano to Avalanche, then like, what bridge do you use? And I mean, in the worst case, you have to check like 5 different bridges, and you find out there is no bridge. So we did this like research, and we know there are some bridges, so we will list them in those onboarding paths. And we will not just have this for other chains, but we also want to have some, like, we call it community paths, which is, for example, like a 21 steps to Avalanche. So you will have 21 things you can do. So this includes, for example, creating a .avax domain, or using Frosty Metrics, which is like a chain analytics tool where you enter your wallet and you can see the score. So if you have like lots of NFTs and lots of trading and activity, then you will have a higher score and you will maybe rank in the sub-zero area. So such things. So that's, for example, in the current onboarding paths, we don't have this as part of it, because we said, okay, we want to keep it simple. But if we have those like 21 steps, for example, then Frosty metrics will also be part of that. And what we also work on with those onboarding paths is to have some special ones from people. So it could be like Luke's journey to Avalanche, and then you have like a list of tools that Luke uses, for example, or it could be also one from mine. So, and I created one, and my path, for example, the last step is to install Foundry. So it's a smart contract development tool, and to start building things. So yeah, that's the onboarding paths. What I also already mentioned is the socials feature. So I think it's important if you join a new ecosystem to know like whom to follow, who are the main accounts, who are like founders, developers, DevRel, like whatever. And related to that, we also plan to extend the data of the projects to also show related profiles at the projects, but only if the people agree to it. So if there is, for example, the founder of Suzaku, and he agrees that we show his Twitter profile at the Suzaku project, then it will be linked there. So you just open the project, you have all the information about Suzaku, you already have the blog articles linked, the YouTube videos linked. So yeah, like training material or content where you can learn more, but we will also add those Twitter profiles. So if you are like really deep into a protocol, then you will already know, okay, so these are like the founders, for example, or the CTO. So these are the people that I need to follow. So yeah, I think that will come relatively soon. We have a few other things in the pipe. I said it's like we have a lot of features, but I think those will be the most important ones. I don't know, Sangeeth, Luke, from your perspective, anything to add?
I think you covered it well. I think a lot of exciting stuff that we're still working on, and yeah, so this is just kind of Gen 1. So really excited for what's coming.
I gotta ask, why 21? Is that like a Musashi reference, or is it a Templeton Plan reference? Like, why not 12, like the 12 steps program or something like that? Why 21?
Yeah, so I mean, these 21 steps, they already existed back when I created this Git book, and I started to edit a few things, and I just thought, if I onboard someone and I need to give them like a step-by-step guide with all the things, like, let's say like most of the things in it, then you are soon at 15 steps, something like that. So it's like you have you have a decentralized exchange, and you go to an NFT platform, and then you do the Frosty metrics and this and that. So if you just think about it, you reach easily a number of, let's say, 15, 16, something like that. And I was at about 18 or 19 and still had like a lot of ideas. And I thought, crypto is, in the end, everything started with Bitcoin, and it's like an homage to Bitcoin and the 21 million limit of Bitcoin. So
yeah, I was just wondering, because it's like 21 steps is like Miyamoto's Musashi's like sacred number. It's also Templeton Plan's like secret for happiness. So it's like the 21 steps. I didn't know if it was the Bitcoin nod, right? Like to show what birthed us all, or like if it was like a math thing, or it's 21. I think is a Fibonacci number as well. So. And I think it's a Harshad number. I think maybe, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've looked at mathematics, but now I just wondered. But it seemed like you were just like, I have 15 fucking steps. Let's add 7 more, and like this is a good fucking number. And then like now it's 21. So, but I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah.
That's Bitcoin related. Yeah.
One other question I had pertaining to the different tabs, from new crypto users to Web3 natives, developers, businesses. If the team would say they're trying to focus and prioritize one of those groups, I'm curious as far as the team thoughts of which of those segments do they believe is most important as they continue to build out this page and perhaps make it easier to onboard into the Avalanche ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a good question, and probably helpful if we kind of just do a quick demo of some of the different things that are in each of those, and we kind of talk about like what we think gets the most use and that kind of thing, because we do have some data that shows where folks are using more of it. But if you want, I can just do a quick view of it. And I apologize to those that are listening to the audio version of the podcast. We will link to a video that you can watch if you're on Apple Podcast or anything like that. But if you're on Spotify, YouTube or X, hopefully you can follow along here. But like Tom was asking, we do have 4 different flows for this. So we have new to crypto, we have existing crypto users that are new to Avalanche, those that are developers, and then those that are on the enterprise side. And I will say that the 2 areas that we've seen the most usage so far are really these top 2, the new to crypto and then the new to Avalanche. So you'll see there are some differences between the 2. So really what we're thinking about when we're designing this is wanting to make sure that we're giving not too much information, not too little information, just the right amount. So kind of that Goldilocks amount of information on there. So we don't want to list every wallet that exists on Avalanche, but we do want to mention that, while we do recommend Core, if you're coming to this with another wallet like MetaMask, like Rabby, that also works here and it's great. And so we have like tutorials and stuff like that for how to use it. Similar like how to get AVAX. So there's a few ways. A lot of folks are going to use a centralized exchange, but maybe someone, had something that they bought another way and they want to be able to bridge it or that kind of thing. So we give a little info on that. So how to get involved in the community. So, how to like learn about what actually happens here, meet the people, those kinds of things. We have that. And then just some important safety tips. And then also how to get started in DeFi. So again, if you're new to Avalanche, maybe you came in through a gaming event, maybe you came in through a social, we have some things that are going to help you get a little more involved in using DeFi, that kind of thing. And one thing we'll also mention, Armin touched on it, is that we do have the different blog articles in here. So you can actually click on any of these and it'll take you to a whole article that goes through how to get started on DeFi. So we have a lot of cool resources that are there. But yeah, you can go in here, use some of the main dexes, getting an Avalanche card so you can spend your newly earned crypto in the real world if you want to, and you're all set there. So that's kind of one flow that we have. We do have that Web3 native one also. So the idea here is we're not trying to teach anybody about blockchain, but we want to make sure that if you are just trying to get your bearings, how to start doing stuff here, it helps you with that. So we have just some information about Avalanche. So if you're coming from a different ecosystem, what you should know about it. So quick things like quickly how to bridge, swap, and use DeFi, and then a little more detail by category for the different things. So we do also, as I mentioned, have the developer focused and then the enterprise wide.
So we really are focusing on these main 2 things, just because that's where we tend to see the most members. We do have plans to build out some of the other sections a whole lot more, but for right now, those in addition to the ecosystem map are really the main places that we see folks using the site, clicking links, sending bookmarks, that kind of thing.
One thing to add here, so the developer section is also like really important for us. But what I also want to say is that Avalanche, they have a builder hub, they have an academy and different things. And for all developers who are listening to this podcast, I can really recommend that you check out the Builders Hub. So we linked it on top of the developers page, and you have like really great academy content, like how to build stuff, how to set up validators, like lots of different things. So I think the DevRel team, they did a great job over the past year, because it evolved a lot in the last year. It was already good before that, but yeah, for all builders and developers, check it out.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I know we are coming up close to time, so I want to take a step back and think through high-level vision for Avalanche over the coming years, right? So over the coming, 3 to 5 years, are there any metrics the team is like solely focused on trying to hit? What would you say is the broader vision for Avalanche as we continue to proliferate down this crypto journey?
Yeah, it's a good question. So network wide, I think one of the big things that you'll see is just in general adoption. So folks being able to use the technology for things that actually matter, that they use in real life, or whatever that might be. So not necessarily trying to emphasize the, casino side of crypto, but really more of the generating real world use cases. So that could come in the form of real world assets. It could come in the form of being the infrastructure for gaming. Institutional adoption is one of the big things that you see a lot of. So not necessarily a metric per se, although if you've been following on the timeline lately, there is a lot of pride in the DEX volumes that have been happening on Avalanche as of late. So those are some of the main things that network wide you'll probably see a lot about if you're following some of the folks on crypto Twitter. So that's what the network is looking at, and then as part of Team1 Avalanche Cascade, we're looking for any way to help support that, and just first and foremost supporting the users, so helping folks to be able to learn about some of the great things happening on the network, and figure out how to get involved based on what interests them.
Armin, Sangeeth, anything else to add as far as things you are looking forward to working on over the coming years ahead?
Yeah, for me, it would be for Cascade to be the primary infrastructure on which Team1 will be built on, where all the members can come together, they can contribute, they can grow this out, and build this into something much, much greater. And we have really skilled members out here, and I think with the right direction, Cascade is going to be one of the biggest hub that can absorb any kind of necessity that comes in from people onboarding into the system. And even right now, we are polishing it out. And once we polish out what we have right now, that's when we slowly branch out into other features that's going to support Avalanche.
Well, so from my side, I mean, Cascade, yeah, we have lots of things to do and to build, and it's fun to build it. So I hope we will continue with that for a few years, and yeah, improve the onboarding experience and add new stuff. And if you look at Avalanche as a network and as a whole, so I mean, what we currently see is like lots of institutionals starting to use Avalanche or expand to Avalanche. I mean, it's really exciting times, because every week you have like a huge announcement. It's like yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, they announced that a Korean investment company with a fund of 300 something billion will start to tokenize stuff on Avalanche. And I think that's the right way. And I mean, we all want to see more adoption of crypto. We all want to use more crypto, have more platforms available. And I think Avalanche is positioned really well in this game. So because first they are accepted from an institutional perspective. Second, they are EVM based. So the C chain is EVM or supports EVM. So it's like super easy to build stuff, or like super easy. I mean, it's like EVM. I would say it's the most adopted, like virtual machine. With Solidity, you have the most adopted smart contract language. So I think also here they are positioned really well. And the third thing is that they have all this layer one. So it's a multi-chain. Everyone can launch an own layer one. And I was involved in consulting people, talking with them about how to build solutions. And in many cases, an own L1 made sense. And that's where Avalanche is like really strong, because I mean, you can use the Builders Hub, you can spin up your own L1 in like a few minutes and it's up and running. For sure, if you want to have it productive, there is more work in it. But yeah, I think this like combination of those three things will hopefully position Avalanche like really well in the future, and we will hopefully see more institutional adoption, more users, and more platforms.
100%. One thing I would add, just that I'm excited about for it. So, and we didn't touch on this too much, is one of the cool things that we built into it is not only being able to find the project, but also using the power of Team1 to help support the ecosystem. So we have a lot of people that make videos, blog posts, those kinds of things. And so we actually, if you go to the ecosystem map, you can actually see some of the different content that's on there. So just really kind of using that to support knowledge on these areas in a way that can be really helpful. So really excited about what's going on here.
Awesome. Well, I, for one, am super excited about everything you guys are building. I think this is a tremendous, tremendous platform to onboard new users onto crypto. Staying away from pump fund and the degen side of crypto and trying to bring in the real world use cases that we all want so much. So kudos to you guys and the great work you guys are doing, and excited to keep following the journey close by with Luke. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the ATX DAO Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care,
Thanks,
y'all.
guys. Thanks for having us.